managed to avoid men who carried trouble in their eyes. I'd trained myself to recognize the smallest hint of danger, the faintest ripple in the air. But trouble has a way of finding me, no matter how hard I try to keep my distance. It lingers like a shadow on my doorstep. That evening, the alley behind my bookshop was silent, except for the rustle of leaves. I was taking out the trash when the bag ripped in midair, spilling coffee grounds, crumpled receipts, and a half-eaten sandwich across the sidewalk. My life, scattered and messy. I muttered a curse, crouching to clean it up, when a sudden prickle ran down my spine. Someone was watching me. I lifted my head and froze. From the balcony above, a pair of sharp green eyes locked on me. They glinted like sea glass under sunlight, intense and unflinching. The man leaned casually against the railing, a cigarette dangling from his lips, smoke curling around the sharp angles of his jaw. Cole, the new tenant who had moved in upstairs just yesterday. He didn't look away. His stare was deliberate, calculated. A smirk tugged at his mouth, as if he knew something I didn't. Heat crawled up my neck. I dropped my gaze, forcing myself to focus on sweeping up the garbage. When I finally dared to look again, he was gone. Vanished. A shiver ran through me. I hurried back inside the shop, washing my hands and shaking off the strange encounter. But no matter how I tried, I couldn't get him out of my head. Why did he look at me like that? What was hiding behind that glint in his eyes? Mischief? Trouble? Maybe both. And yet, a part of me already wondered when I would see him again. The bell above the bookstore door chimed, jolting me. Heavy footsteps echoed on the stairs, slow, steady, purposeful. My pulse quickened. Then he appeared. Cole stepped into the light, tall, lean, a camera slung over his shoulder. He looked completely out of place in this small town, with his rough edges and shadowed eyes.
"Good morning, neighbor,"
he said, his voice rough with sleep. He leaned against the counter, close enough for me to catch the faint scent of leather and something expensive. I shoved the books into place a little too hard. "Morning, you settling in upstairs?"
"Getting there. Quieter than I'm used to."
"Quiet keeps the gossip at bay," I shot back, sharper than I meant. He didn't flinch. If anything, he looked amused. I eyed the camera. Sleek, expensive, definitely not local. A photographer, huh? Planning on documenting me stacking shelves? Not much of a story there.
Depends on the angle. Everything's a story if you frame it right.
I rolled my eyes, but warmth betrayed me, spreading across my skin. Frame it somewhere else. I have work to do.
Fair enough. I'll leave you to your empire of books. But if you hear me pacing tonight, don't hold it against me. City habits die hard.
And then he was gone. I stood frozen, staring at the doorway, my chest tight with something I refused to name. By late afternoon, the store's quiet settled around me like a familiar quilt, though tension still sat heavy on my shoulders. I was flipping through a worn novel when the back door banged open. Lisa burst in, tossing her leather jacket onto a chair. Her braids bounced as her hazel eyes danced with mischief.
"Come on, Cass, tell me about the new guy upstairs,"
she demanded, hopping onto the counter. I kept my tone flat. "Yeah, I've seen him. His name's Cole. Just a guy." Her brow arched.
"Just a guy? Cass, come on. Is he hot? I bet he's hot."
Before I could shove her off, the bell chimed again. The air shifted, heavier. Cole walked in. The sharp lines of his black t-shirt hugged his frame, his eyes darker than before, unreadable as they swept across the room. My breath caught, and I hated it.
"Got a screwdriver?"
His voice was low, rough, dangerous. Lisa nearly fell off the counter.
"Holy hell, you're the tenant? I'm Lisa. Cassie's better half. Need help fixing something? I'm good with my hands."
"Good to know, but I'll start with the screwdriver."
I turned to the drawer, rummaging for the tool, while Lisa's laughter dripped with teasing.
Don't mind Cassie. She's allergic to fun. Me? I'd love to see what you're working with upstairs.
Lisa said. I spun back with the screwdriver, glaring at both of them. Cole leaned in the doorway, watching me. Always me. I shoved the tool into his hand, maybe a little harder than necessary. Don't break anything.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Lisa kept talking, but her voice faded to static. Cole turned, leaving with the same unshakable presence he carried in. I gripped the counter, exhaling sharply. Part of me wanted to shove him out of my world, and another part wanted to pull him back in. That night, I lay awake, glaring at the ceiling as footsteps echoed restlessly above me. Lisa's teasing words replayed in my head. I told myself to stop thinking about him, stop thinking about those eyes, stop feeling this spark that had no business being there. He's just a tenant, I whispered to myself. But deep down, I knew I was lying. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for part 2.